Aren't Imperial ships cool? Wouldn't it be nice to just have one? There are plenty of Imperial ships in civilian service. For example, the Mining Guild was sold modified TIE fighters to patrol their facilities. However, an official Imperial contractor is still Imperial. There are a lot more interesting things you can do with Imperial ships if you don't need the Empire to approve of it. And if you don't need the Empire to approve of what you're doing with their ships, then who cares how you acquire them? I am Joey from Radio Free Coruscant, and these are the best Imperial ships to steal.
What is going on?
We're under attack, sir.
Get us out of here. Jump to hyperspace.
They've taken out our hyperdrive.
Then open fire and notify command.
Imperial Star Destroyer. The Imperial Star Destroyer is a bit of an over-the-top choice for a list like this, but I wanted an excuse to talk about the Errant Venture. More on that momentarily. The ISD is a 1,600-meter-long warship armed with 6 to 8 heavy turbolaser turrets and dozens of other turbolasers, ion cannons, and more. It was the most common capital ship in the Imperial Navy, and arguably one of the most dangerous. So what can you do with one? The Virulence was an Imperial II-class Star Destroyer at the end of the Galactic Civil War. It was captured by Booster Tarek, who renamed the ship to the Errant Venture. He painted it red and stripped it of most of its weapons, which he sold to the New Republic. He then converted it into a mobile spaceport and a bazaar, and used it for personal financial gain and missions for the New Republic for many years. There were shops on board for merchants to sell their wares, workshops, passenger cabins, restaurants, a fancy courtyard with a diorama showing the battle where the Venture was captured, and even a Jedi temple. Is this a practical use for a ship like a Star Destroyer? Maybe not. How would you go about capturing a capital ship with 37,000 crew? I have no idea. What else could you use it for? Whatever you want, I guess. You're the one with the Star Destroyer, you make the rules now. All that matters is that the Errant Venture absolutely rocks and needs some siblings, so get on it. Let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in a video all about the Errant Venture in the future. There's a lot more to the story than I shared here. Gozanti Cruiser. The Gozanti Cruiser is perhaps not the most creative choice, since it had been on the civilian market for decades before the Empire started to use the ship. That's why such a genuinely useful ship is so early on the list. However, the Imperial version of the 64-meter-long freighter has a few unique characteristics that would make it of interest to rebels, smugglers, merchants, and pirates alike. It is more heavily armed and armored for one thing, but its biggest draw is that it has 4 docking tubes on the underside of the ship that can carry up to 4 starfighters or 2 ground vehicles, including AT-ATs. This could be very useful for all kinds of illicit operations, as fighter carriers are very rare on the civilian market. Stealing a Gozanti would be very easy, as they are often found unguarded on backwater Imperial facilities, and many Gozantis have just walked away before. Arquitens-class light cruiser. For a better mix of firepower and stealability, an Arquitens-class light cruiser, command cruiser, or Class 546 cruiser might be preferable. I already discussed the Ark in my videos about the best ships for pirates, but in a nutshell it was very heavily armed for its size, could carry a decent amount of cargo, and some could carry starfighters. As I said in that video, it would be a great ship for pirates, but it would be equally useful to rebels. There probably isn't much use for it for anyone else, but really, who else would be stealing ships from the Empire? Arquitens have a relatively small crew of 100 and are not high-priority ships within the Empire, so it should not be difficult to engineer a scenario to get aboard and then overwhelm the crew like Din Djarin and company did with Moff Gideon's cruiser to rescue his son Grogu. Class 4 Container Transport. Moving away from combat ships for a moment, the Class 4 Container Transport is a great ship to liberate from Imperial service. This 233-meter-long tetrahedronal bulk freighter was armed with one double turbo laser battery and 2 laser cannon turrets, so it wasn't completely helpless, but by and large it would be more useful for smugglers and merchants than pirates or rebels. And it would be very useful to smugglers and merchants indeed, as it could carry up to 210 large cargo containers on an external magnetic rack. It would be very easy to hide your contraband in one of the containers in the middle of the block where nobody is going to look too closely, or even in the ship itself where they'll never expect it. The Class 4 would also be very easy to steal. The only times we see this ship on screen are plots where one is being infiltrated or stolen. Bulk freight is almost never sensitive cargo, so security gets lazy and officers cut corners. Plus, it only has a crew of 9 and a droid, so a Class 4 would truly be a minimum effort hijack. Quasar Fire Class Carrier. I really struggled to decide what should go in the number 1 spot. I had thought about the Lambda shuttle, but that didn't seem very exciting. Then I thought about the Nebulon B, Lancer, or Carrack-class frigates, but those seemed too similar to the Arquitens. Finally, I landed on the Quasar Fire class, the perfect mix of power, versatility, and stealability. The Quasar Fire class cruiser carrier measures 350 meters long. It is armed with 2 light turbolaser batteries and 2 medium tractor beam emitters. The biggest draw, of course, is its capacity of 48 starfighters, shuttles, and other embarked craft. This makes the Quasar Fire a great option for a pirate lord looking to round out their fleet with a large starfighter complement. The hangar bays could also be useful for others as well. While it would be easier to steal or buy a bulk freighter if you are looking for cargo space, the Quasar Fire can carry 5,000 tons of cargo, and its massive hangars would make it very easy to distribute the cargo or have customers come pick it up if you are taking it to a planet without a suitable cargo hub. Or for a more unique use for it, perhaps you could use it as a traveling ship lot, buying and selling small ships out of its hangars. I don't know if that business idea is any good, but this would be the perfect ship for it if it is. Also, the name alone should be enough to sell you on it. I mean, Quasar Fire? It doesn't get better than that. It shouldn't be too hard to steal a Quasar Fire. Wait until its starfighters are out on a mission and enter through the hangar bay, just as we see Cham Syndulla and the Spectres do with the Quasar Fire that would eventually become the flagship of Phoenix Cell. It does have a fairly substantial crew of 250, plus a possible 150 troopers, but if your operation is big enough to deserve one of these, that should not be an insurmountable obstacle. And those are the 5 best Imperial ships to steal. I originally wanted to make a list of the best Imperial ships, period, but that would have required more analysis than I had time for this week. Let me know if you'd like to see that list in the future, and subscribe so you don't miss it when it comes out. Anyway, I'll see you next week. RFC, out.